All right, let's get back to our most beloved reviews that we do on the channel,
The
the
X Files.
X-Files.
Don't worry, we'll end it one day once we're done,
No, fuck that.
and then we're gonna watch it
No,
again.
no, yeah,
Rewatch.
exactly. I'm going to turn this into a purely X-Files channel just to
Mhm.
fuck with the last guy who commented on our X-Files review saying, stop it with the X-Files. He said, get rid of them.
Yeah.
Like what? Delete them?
Get
How about you
rid of
fucking delete yourself? Okay, we'll do the X Files every day. I'm just gonna do the X Files now. Those kinds of comments really fucking get under my skin. Like, you
Yeah.
don't like it? Don't watch it. It's killing the channel? Then fucking leave the channel. There you go. So fuck yourself. Anyway, Season 7, Episode 9, Signs and Wonder. This is a extremely forgettable episode. And when I say forgettable, I mean forgettable because I fucking forgot it. I actually literally had to go on to Wikipedia and I had to reread because we watched this like 3 weeks ago. And when I
Yes.
was looking at it, I was like, I don't remember this at all. I remembered a couple key moments, like the girl pregnant with the snakes and that. But man, even when I read the whole thing, I was like, I don't even remember this. This is so forgettable. And with the rating on IMDb for this episode, which is one of the lowest of the show, that makes perfect sense because
I remembered parts of it. I think that there's some pretty memorable. I mean, there's a lady that gives birth to like a bunch of snakes in this, which I
it
think
doesn't
is.
mean that
I don't
there's
think
not going
this
to be
story is
memorable
memorable,
moments,
but
but
yeah,
it's just not a good episode.
I agree. I mean, it's not a good episode. I
Yeah.
definitely am not trying to argue that.
Um, if you want to see something similar ish, I would watch a movie called Holy Ghost People that deals with a cult
Mm.
who uses snakes as part of their church and whatnot. So it reminded me of that for sure. But we have this guy who gets killed in the opening by like thousands of snakes, and then they call in Mulder and Scully because they can find no evidence of snakes anywhere, even though the guy seems to have been killed by tons of them, all in his locked car. How the
Yeah,
hell did they get out? And
good
why is there
question.
no evidence of snakes anywhere?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good question. I mean, it would definitely be an X file, but not one that I remember clearly. One thing I, of course, can say, as I always say, and I hate to harp on this, and for any of our religious viewers, I'm not trying to single you out or trash talk you or something, but like religious people really are the scariest people to me.
Mm.
Like when I say religious, I mean like religious zealots that are like completely bought into the doctrine, take it literally, and want to use it as an excuse to judge people harshly and with violence and control.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like whenever we watch something, the thing that scares me the most is people who are completely bought in to some belief, so much
Mm.
so that they're willing to look back past any morality, any logic, anything. It's just like pure faith,
Yeah.
pure commitment,
Yeah.
and they're just like, champions and warriors for their god.
Sure. Yeah, it's scary. Um, yeah, I don't know. We talk about it a lot on the channel. So, I mean, this is a very religious episode, obviously. And there's quite a few of them in the X-Files in
Oh
general.
yeah.
More than I would ever kind of think, I guess.
The second
Um,
movie is all about like
yeah.
religion, so from
Yeah.
my memory of it.
Mm. Mhm.
So I think they're always trying to balance.
The science and religion
Yeah.
aspect. Yeah.
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 And that's why they made Scully, who's the skeptic of the supernatural,
The believer
the
in the.
believer in the religious parts,
Yeah.
which is such a weird combination. Most scientists are atheists.
Sure. For
Um,
sure, yeah.
so it's not normal. Uh, it's not common, should I say? There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, as I said many times, I don't have any issue with people's finding their own spirituality.
Mhm.
It's when you take it to the place where you think that you know best and you're going to push it onto others, um, and try to like get laws passed and want to replace the Constitution with the
Right.
Bible or
Yeah,
something. It's
that's
like,
when it becomes
no.
problematic.
No, I don't think so. We're not going to do that. Although we might. But we do get Julie from A New Nightmare in here. She plays the young girl in this. That I do remember. We also have Beth Grant in here, which, funny enough, I just edited together a new Slasher Sunday with her in it because she is the teacher of Andy in Chucky Child's Play Part 2 that gets beat to death by the yardstick, the iconic, probably the most iconic scene in the franchise for me.
Yeah,
it's the
great.
best the doll ever looks.
Absolutely.
It's the scariest Chucky ever looks.
Very scary. I love that scene and that movie.
But what I know her best from for myself, of course, is Sparkle Motion from Donnie Darko. But I see her, she's in everything.
Yeah.
They love to cast her as, I mean, you want to talk about somebody who plays like the true believer. She's the best. She just has that crazy in her.
Yes, she does. Her eyes always have it. Yeah.
Yeah. Probably the scariest person for me. I'm blanking on the actress's name actually right now, which is weird because I know it. But the one who goes all religious, zealous, she is this character anyway in the beginning of it, but she goes full blown in The Mist. That character is terrifying, and she just she fully commits to it. But yeah, this guy, he's a yeah, there's this whole thing going on with the girl in this, and she's pregnant, and they think it's this guy's the dad and that guy's the dad, and then they're covering it up, and I don't know. I as I said, I don't even remember that shit, so it's very unmemorable for me. You have much to say about this one?
Not really. The things that I remember are just like the birth of a bunch of snakes and like when the little, I think you had said it earlier, what is it called? That removes staples? Turns into
Yeah,
a snake and bites her. Oh, okay. And then just like the fact that like Mulder's like seeing snakes and all of that.
Yeah.
It reminds me of an episode which I had mentioned earlier in another review, later on with Scully and like a they're not voodoo dolls, but because they're from
In the
like
car?
Ireland. Yeah.
When she's in the car and like she's getting attacked and the guy's like in the grave. Are we talking about that one?
No, the episode where she gets blinded.
Oh, okay.
Like just the fact that they're both kind of like
That's Thief,
right.
spelled T-H-E-E-F.
Yes, that episode. Yeah, because it's
Billy
not
Drago.
it's yeah. Anyway, that's all. I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about this one. I'm not a big fan of the religious episodes in general. I think that they're very like just boring and repetitive, and I don't really like them. They're always Scully being like some,
believer.
Yeah.
And Mulder's like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then of course there is something I remember at the very end, which is super silly, where
yes.
Is he a reverend? Is that what these guys are? Whatever he is, he's at the end and he takes out a mouse, like a little mouse, and then he puts it over, and a snake comes out of his mouth.
Yeah.
So they're like living inside of him.
Yeah.
Just super stupid.
Very, very dumb.
Yeah, looks terrible.
Yeah, it doesn't look good at all.
I hated that, and just adds to the silliness of this episode, and probably why I just purged it from my memory.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So that's that, and we're gonna move on to the next one, and the next, and the next, forever. We're never gonna stop talking about the X-Files, and when we're done with this, we're gonna watch The Lone Gunman, and when we're done with that, we're gonna watch the Millennium.
Yes, anything. Then we're gonna start reading the X-Files comics.
Then X-Files comic reviews are coming. X-Files video game reviews.
Just buckle in, buckle up.
X-Files trading cards.
Yep, we're gonna become Mulder and Scully.
Yeah, next episode we're gonna be in suits.
We're just gonna be like,
welcome to the new branded Sinister Cinema.
Yeah.
We're done.
Bye.